Another point that you raised was, where businesses who are often passionate about what they do, they tend to do anything and everything.
Yes.
What would you suggest the key things are to make sure that a business has its priorities really locked in tightly instead of, becoming loosely doing everything for everyone and being everything to everyone?
Yes. I think that's a really simple one. So you have a business cycle where you set your priorities for a year, and then during the year you consider the new priorities for the next year, but you stick to what you've decided within the year. So to me it is just about simplicity and clarity. You have your vision set, let's decide what are the 2 or 3 things we're going to do, and let's spend as much time as we need together in the room, accepting that and therefore acknowledging what we're not going to do. And the what we're not going to do discussion is really, really important, because you might be sitting there as a passionate person in an organisation thinking, I agree with those 3 things, and I'm just going to do a little bit of this as well because I think that'll contribute. So you must have that conversation. Everybody's bought into the 3 things we're going to do, and then everybody's bought into the things we'd like to do but we're not going to do, so we can do as well as we can at this. And everybody knows they can come back next year and reconsider what are the 3 new priorities, having selected those 3. And as I said, it's just simple then, it's just the laser-like focus, the organisation, the systems and the processes supporting those 3 things and not supporting those 3 things, and away you go. And it's just real discipline from there. It's as simple as that. Stick to it. Don't come up with the next bright idea. And just because you're the managing director, for example, you can't do it. Your authority doesn't go that far because the organisation's made its decision. And absent big lessons about why something isn't working, stick to it and do it well. Take the reward from that and move it on to the next one.
Okay. And probably one of the hardest ones of all actually is implementing this strategy. And I find that if you have a poor strategy, or not a poor strategy, but a strategy that's implemented really, really well, things tend to work. But if you have a great strategy with no implementation, nothing happens. So can you tell us a little bit more about how does a company or an organization become really good at implementing strategy? What are the key things to doing that?
Yes. To me there are 2 parts, and I'm going to pay lip service to one part because I suspect other people can talk to it better than I can, and you probably know it as better than I do, and that's the formal part. And then there's the informal or cultural or the way we work around here part, which Sean spent a bit of time on. So all of the formal things, we all know, the formal communications, the KPIs of the way we're incented, the bonuses we chase, the performance management from our boss, and how we manage the people that work for us. All of those formal pieces in an organisation must align to that. So if the 3 priorities are A, B and C, then the KPI document says that you'll be rewarded and considered on A, B and C. The HR practices align to A, B and C, etc, etc, etc. But the other part in implementing strategy, which is absolutely the hardest part of this, is all of the informal things that happen, like when the boss is walking around the floor and talking to people. What's the language that he uses? What's he interested in? He should be interested in those 3 things. He should ask how the 3 things are working in this area. He should, while being polite, not engage in conversation about the 4th bright idea they're throwing in the corner. Those sorts of things. And that's just the difficult part about it is around self-management and discipline within individuals. So that all the cultural aspects, the way we speak when we stand around the coffee machine in the morning, the way we talk when we sit around having a beer at the end of the week, the way we engage with the community, the way these things happen, the way we talk to somebody who we see doing something different on an informal occasion. So I might be talking to you as a co-worker, we might be good friends outside work, and we're having a yak at a pub on a Friday night after we've left work, and you say to me, the 3 things we're doing are great, but it's only taking up 3/4 of my day, so I'm just having to play with this on the side, and then next year I'll put up to the boss formally. I have an obligation to say to you, well, I'm part of the company too, and I want to succeed because I'm passionate about it, and I'd like you to spend the other 20% of your day back on those 3 things, or helping someone else who's struggling rather than playing on your pet project. So all of those challenges for us as individuals, and that's an easy conversation to have if what we've talked about earlier in the interview around engaging everybody and building this in the first place is right, because it's an easy conversation to have. So all of those informal things I think are more important than the formal structures, and the things that we often don't pay enough time or consideration to. And when we hear a conversation that doesn't align to it, we don't have the strength or the time or whatever it is, just to have a good conversation about, hey, you know, I want to pick you up on that one because idea D is a great one and I look forward to debating it next year.
Mm-hmm.
But just to haul you back to A, B and C, you know, we're a really talented guy, and if you're bored by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd love a bit of a hand with this,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever that conversation might be. And that's the hard part.
Okay. One of the things that's sometimes a little bit difficult for companies to know what to do.
Yep.
What about if the strategy is not